A lot of people think emotional intelligence is something you're either born with or you are not. But that's not really how it works. Every day, you could be damaging your emotional intelligence without knowing it. Not because you're doing anything intentionally wrong, but the more you repeat them, the more they happen on their own. Eventually, they happen without you even being aware of it. So today, we're going through 7 habits that quietly destroy your emotional intelligence. And the interesting part is, some of them you even feel like the right thing to do before you knew about them today. But by the end of this video, you'll see why it is so important to be aware of those habits to become an emotionally intelligent person. And don't skip the last habit because this is a mistake that almost everyone makes, including people who are confident in their emotional intelligence. So let's go! Habit 1. Reacting instantly to triggers. Someone says something that doesn't feel right to you. You get a text from someone that feels rude. Your boss makes an unusual comment in a meeting about you. And before you even think about it, you react. But here's the truth most people miss. Emotional intelligence isn't about what you say back. It's about the tiny moment before you say anything. That split second between what happens and how you respond. That's where self-awareness lies. If you respond too quickly, you don't give yourself a chance to think. The trigger ends up taking control of your emotions. When you're replying to an email or a group chat, every time you react without thinking, you're teaching your brain that this is normal. You're strengthening the habit of reacting fast and thinking later. But when you stop for a moment, you're teaching your brain that you are the one in charge, not your emotions. But reacting instantly isn't even the most damaging habit on this list. It's just the first domino, and that leads to the next habit. Habit 2. Avoiding discomfort instead of sitting with it. Let's say a friend or peer's behavior puts you in an uncomfortable situation, and after that, you start to stay away from them. It can feel like you're now at peace, but that matters because emotional resilience isn't built by escaping discomfort. It's built by staying with it, by noticing what's happening and letting it move through you. Think about exercise. Muscles grow when they face resistance. Your emotional strength grows the same way. Every time you turn away from pain, you miss the lesson that could have made you stronger. The pattern is pretty simple. The more you practice being uncomfortable, the more comfortable you become with it. The more you avoid it, the less that skill develops. And that leads us to the next habit. Habit 3. Assuming you know what others mean. This one trick is because it doesn't feel like you are doing anything wrong. In fact, it can feel like a skill. Being able to read people quickly. Someone gives a short reply and you think you already know what they mean. For example, someone gives feedback and you assume you understand the hidden message, but you probably don't. What you think you see in them is often influenced by your own past, your usual thinking patterns, and what you expect from people. It's risky for any relationship because real understanding only happens when you check, not when you guess. Because as soon as you check, you have to face the chance that your assumption was wrong, and that's uncomfortable for your brain. The moment you stop checking and start assuming, you stop listening to the real person and start responding to a version of them that only exists in your head. So for the next time, assume nothing without checking, which brings us to the next habit that is more harmful than this. Habit 4. Complaining without thinking. It feels good to talk about what's bothering you. You get it out of your system, feel some relief, and believe you're moving on. But here's the reality. According to research, getting everything off your chest doesn't always help you heal. Most of the time, you're replaying the same hurtful moment in your head again and again. The more you replay it in your mind, the stronger that emotional habit becomes. Just like getting better at something through practice, real change starts when you stop asking, why did this happen? And start asking, why did this affect me so deeply? That's when you stop focusing on what happened and start focusing on what it taught you. Venting alone won't help if you don't reflect. It can keep those feelings alive instead of helping them fade. You're not letting go. You're learning how to live with the same pain. It's okay to feel your emotions and talk about them, but don't stop at that. Pause, reflect, and ask yourself what it's taught you, and that leads to real growth. But the next habit can cause more damage if you're not aware. Habit 5. Avoiding feedback. You can't see your own blind spots. That's exactly why they are called blind spots. The only way to discover them is to see yourself through someone else's eyes. But most people chose the opposite. They keep people around who always say they are right, and co-workers who avoid speaking up because they don't want trouble. If someone tells you the truth about yourself, the usual response is to get defensive, withdraw, or react with anger. So nobody wants to be truthful anymore. The high achievers often believe they are self-aware, but the real reason is that no one around them tells them the truth anymore. It's about pushing away the people who help you notice your blind spots. Without honest feedback, your understanding of yourself can slowly become inaccurate. By the time you realize it, the difference between how you see yourself and what you really are can be surprisingly big. So make it easy for the people who are your well-wishers to be honest with you. Ask for examples. Thank them for speaking up. And if what they say bothers you, don't rush to defend yourself. Get curious first. But besides these, another most harmful habit you must know. Habit 6. Comparing your insides to others' outsides. You know more about what's going on in your head than anyone else. Your overthinking, the self-doubt, the conversations you keep replaying. You don't get to see other people's lives the way you see your own. You only see what they chose to show. Their smiling photos, their calm voice, the polished version of themselves. Then you compare your messy behind the scenes to their finished highlight face. Of course, you feel like you're falling behind. It may seem true, but it isn't. The comparison itself was unfair from the beginning. It creates pain within you. You begin to believe you're the only one who struggles. Your confidence becomes easy to break because you assume everyone else has life figured out. But the way you see yourself becomes inaccurate, making it difficult to know who you really are. Researchers who study social comparison repeatedly find the same pattern. People who often measure themselves against others' curated images report lower self-esteem and higher anxiety. And it is also inevitable that a low self-esteem person is always jealous of others, and he contains within himself lower emotional intelligence. But everything we have covered so far is psychological, but the next habit is biological. Habit 7. Neglecting sleep. Here's the part most people don't think about. You can practice all the right skills. Pause before reacting. Stay with uncomfortable emotions. Question your assumptions. Reflect instead of venting. Listen to feedback. Stop comparing yourself to everyone else. But if you're exhausted most of the time, those skills become much harder to use. This isn't just motivational talk. Neuroscience explains why. When you don't get enough sleep, the part of your brain that helps you pause before reacting becomes weaker. It's harder to pause before reacting, and your emotions take over. Think about how you act after a night of almost no sleep. You're still you, but little things bother you more. You get angry more quickly, and you end up wishing you hadn't said certain things. It's not that your emotional intelligence disappeared. It's that your third brain can't access it the way it normally does. So, if you have a look carefully, you'll see all 7 habits are connected to each other. They are part of the same chain. The good news is you don't have to fix everything overnight. Start with one of them and also gradually practice the others one after another. If you're persistent in creating emotional intelligence within yourself, you will be successful. There's no other's way out. And don't forget to watch the other important video next on the screen. It's subtle behaviors that prove you have high emotional intelligence.